FX's Justified City Primeval premieres July 18th on FX. Stream on Hulu.
You tell him about the man you killed? The way you did it? Because I found nothing funny in that.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top movie and TV adaptations of Elmore Leonard's legendary stories.
If you're gonna come in on this thing with me, you got to be prepared to go all the way.
For this list, we're looking at the most faithfully gripping or memorably creative screen interpretations of an American writer who became well known for his writing in westerns, crime fiction, and suspense thrillers. Which Elmore Leonard-inspired films and TV series do you think packed the most punch? Feel free to justify your opinion in the comments. Number 7. The Tall T. Throughout the 1950s, the Hollywood Western was a massive industry with a narrow imagination.
That's too much money, Ed. Too much for one man to worry about. It ain't for Willard. He's a bookkeeper. Or he was.
With America responding to a young pulp writer's gritty and cynical take on the genre, The Captives became the first Elmore Leonard story to be adapted to the big screen. Cowboy icon Randolph Scott plays a disgraced ranch hand who is held hostage on a stagecoach alongside a copper heiress.
Mail? Where is it?
I wouldn't know.
Mister, you tell me.
You made a mistake. This isn't the regular stage. It's not due for an hour. The stage you want is due here at 5.
What sounds like your typical six-shooter action movie ends up being a masterful exercise in suspense. Though the similarly claustrophobic 3:10 to Yuma would be released only months later, The Tall T has built a unique reputation among Elmore Leonard and Western connoisseurs.
Look, what he did was wrong, but you going along with it and then shooting him down, that was all right?
If you can't see the difference, I ain't gonna explain it to you.
Number 6. 3:10 to Yuma. The short story 3:10 to Yuma has always had a special place in the Elmore Leonard pantheon. The 1957 adaptation with Glenn Ford and Van Heflin may be the definitive bottle western.
He's only gonna come back with the others, and I'll go free. And you'll get shot. Mister, we're gonna get you out of town so fast you won't touch ground.
50 years later, the story broke out of the hotel room, guns blazing. James Mangold's epic remake completely follows a ruthless outlaw's transportation to a prison train and his deadly gang's pursuit.
Evans, Crawley, Tucker, you need to mount up now. Head for Evans Ranch. I'll meet you there with the coach.
The adventure is full of action, but retains Leonard's emphasis on dark and morally ambiguous characters. With a perfect blend of nuance and thrilling scope, the remake of 3:10 to Yuma is itself a Hollywood Western classic.
It's man's nature to take what he wants, Dad. That's how we're born.
Well, I make an honest living.
Might be honest, but I don't think it's much of a living.
Number 5. Get Shorty. By the 90s, Elmore Leonard had enough experience with the movie industry to see how faithful it is to his mob dramas off-camera.
I trust you, Chili. I think you're a decent type of man, even if you're a crook.
Hot off Pulp Fiction, John Travolta won a Golden Globe for playing a Miami mafia enforcer who strong-arms an LA producer into making a movie about him.
You mentioned Grotesque before. That happens to be Grotesque Part 2 that Karen Flores was in. She also starred in 3 of my Slime Creatures releases. You may have seen them.
I got an idea for a movie.
The TV reimagining of Get Shorty by Epix, meanwhile, won critical acclaim throughout its 3 seasons. Still, the 1995 adaptation stands out for its faithfulness to Leonard's novel and the showbiz racket.
Where you been, Harry? We haven't heard from you lately.
New York. I was interviewing actors, scouting locations, kind of thing. But main thing is that Freaks is going to be put off for a couple of months.
A couple of months?
Yeah.
Number 4. Ombre. 1950s Hollywood could do only so much with Elmore Leonard's heavy Western style. 10 years after The Tall T and 3:10 to Yuma, another gritty adventure really shook up the industry. Ombre follows a white stagecoach driver who was raised by Apaches as he defends his bigoted passengers from a band of outlaws. Magnetic matinee idol Paul Newman hardly ever speaks in the leading role.
Now, how far did you say you're gonna get? Leave us some water!
As for the supporting cast, they confront bold themes of class, racism, and history. Sure, there were many more distinctly revisionist westerns before Ombre, but just as Leonard made the subgenre a mainstream phenomenon in literature, Ritt helped solidify it in Hollywood.
Well, now. What do you suppose hell is gonna look like?
We all die, just a question of when.
Number 3, Jackie Brown. Quentin Tarantino is one of the most influential screenwriters ever, but his roots in Elmore Leonard's are unmistakable. This culminated in a loose adaptation of Rum Punch that celebrated both the novelist and 70s blaxploitation.
Now that, my friend, is a clear-cut case of him or me. And you best believe it ain't gonna be me.
Genre icon Pam Grier plays Jackie Brown, a flight attendant and smuggler who schemes to get out from under her boss and the feds. The caper is full of Tarantino's signature suspense and painstaking detail.
So let's start again now, shall we? Who in Mexico gave you this money, and who in America were you bringing it to?
I'm not saying another goddamn word.
But the script cuts through his usual cheekiness into pristine dialogue and complex character arcs to make Leonard proud. With many now ranking it among the filmmaker's finest work, it is surely a worthy tribute to another titan of pulp fiction.
I can do that. But you know I got that problem. All my money is
In Mexico.
Right.
Well, I've been thinking about that too. And I got me an idea.
Number 2, Out of Sight. Before he directed George Clooney in Ocean's 11, experimental filmmaker Steven Soderbergh seemed an unlikely choice to adapt Elmore Leonard's latest and possibly slickest novel.
Hey, Adele, how you doing?
Hey, bank robber. Hey, want some advice? Next time, keep the engine running.
That's funny.
So what do you want, Jack?
Clooney was certainly perfectly cast as Jack Foley, a hugely charismatic thief who gets in a cat-and-mouse game with U.S. Marshal Karen Sisko. Pop star Jennifer Lopez, however, gave her co-star a not just literal run for his money.
This is your game I've never played before.
It's not a game. It's not something you play.
Well, does this make any sense to you?
It doesn't have to. It's something that happens.
Besides their iconic on-screen chemistry, Out of Sight transcended heist movie conventions of cool writing, elaborate plotting, and hair-raising action. Soderbergh further distinguished the thriller with an artful style that firmly established him as one of the most creative genre directors of his day.
I don't know. He doesn't exactly confide in me.
I wonder why.
Okay, now, if you're gonna do this, let's do it.
Number 1, Justified. Raylan Givens first landed the spotlight in the short story Fire in the Hole. But thanks to Timothy Oliphant, the loose cannon deputy U.S. Marshal was unforgettably brought to life on the FX show Justified.
What's going on here? Time flies, huh?
You're a character. I was telling my friends this morning how yesterday you come to me and you don't get out of town in 24 hours, I'm gonna shoot you on sight. Come on, what is that?
What started as a quintessential procedural in the Kentucky Appalachians became one of the richest crime epics on TV. Audiences were especially hooked on brutal yet sympathetic criminal mastermind Boyd Crowder.
Whose side do you think the government's always been on, Raylan? Us or people with money?
Of course, the slick neo-Western style, sharp writing, and deep storytelling made Justified one of the hottest shows of the 2010s. With Justified City Primeval being one of the most anticipated TV events of 2023, the definitive Elmore Leonard adaptation is also the most enduring.
I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Raylan Givens, and I'm offering salvation. Talk to me. Come on, face to face.
I am not opening this door.
Then, as they say in the Bible, you're screwed.
FX's Justified City Primeval premieres July 18th on FX. Stream on Hulu.